Everybody's on social media saying stay at home, please stay at home, including myself. I've posted the same thing. But we're asking you guys to stay at home and basically be nurses. And I know that that can be very challenging and scary. And I wanted to give you guys some insight of what I would do. This is not medical advice because I'm not a doctor. I am a nurse, but it's still always call your doctor if you feel concerned. But I do want to share with you guys what I would do if one of my loved ones was sick or if I got sick. You just have to know what to do. And sometimes we don't know, and I get it. You guys, I know I triage so many people that are genuinely scared and they think that they're gonna get some horrible news. But a lot of times the triage nurse kind of has a hunch if you're gonna be discharged or not. And so I just kind of wanted to give you guys some assurance and help you feel a little bit more comfortable with everything that's going on. So here we go. If I got sick or a loved one got sick, the first thing that I would do would be to start resting. Sometimes when we're sick, we don't want to listen to our body. You wake up, you have that sore throat, you know, or your chest feels funny, your head feels funny, you just ignore it, you try to beat it, and then it ends up winning later on. Once you start to feel sick, lay down and drink fluids. If you have any symptoms of body aches, any mild fevers, go ahead and take your antipyretics, meaning your Tylenol and your Motrin. Now, we'll say that currently, at the time of filming this video, Motrin is kind of debatable. There's a French doctor who tweeted out some information about Motrin not being effective in causing a prolonging of the virus, but that has not been confirmed or proven. So you just use it at your own discretion. Me personally, I am going to use some Motrin because it has worked for me before. When I actually got the flu, I felt horrible. I took some Aleve and I actually got on a plane. And by the time I got off the plane, I was ready to party. So for me, it's Tylenol, Motrin. If I have a cough, I'm going to try to simmer that cough down. I wouldn't suppress my cough because that's how pneumonia sets up. If you've ever had a surgery before, then you know that coughing is promoted, because if you don't cough and you let stuff sit there, it turns into fever and pneumonia, and that's what you don't want, because for some reason the flu likes to bring its good old cousin pneumonia in. So I would not completely suppress my cough. However, I would manage my cough. Natural remedies like honey, lemon, ginger, cinnamon, broth, gargle with some salt water, maybe use some throat lozenges. That's what I would do. I would try to soothe my throat if I had a sore throat, and I would try to, you know, calm my cough down, because what happens is if you keep coughing, then you're going to develop chest pain, and then when you get chest pain, you're going to be worried about other stuff. So try to keep the cough to a minimum, and of course when you do cough, make sure that you're coughing in your arm as well as washing your hands for 20 seconds. And another way that you can kind of nurse your cough is using cool humidifiers, or going to start a shower, a hot steamy shower, and just sit in the bathroom for a minute. And guys, make sure you're actually washing your hands for 20 seconds. And I cannot express to you guys enough, I would drink a lot of water. Most of the time when you come to the hospital and you think it's that bad and you can't manage it at home, we're most likely going to treat you for one or two things: respiratory and dehydration. And dehydration comes when you don't drink enough water. So drink enough fluids, whether it's Gatorade or water. I would stay away from milk because it produces more phlegm, and you don't want that. If you're already coughing and stuff is coming up, you don't want to make that worse. But push your fluids, you know, make sure that you're going to the bathroom. Make sure that your urine is not dark. If your urine is dark, that means that you're pretty dehydrated. You want nice clear urine, or, you know, yellow urine. That's what I would be doing. So what are the symptoms for this Rona? Can't say the word. The symptoms are fever, cough, shortness of breath. But now studies have shown that some people are having GI problems. So diarrhea, loss of appetite, and those are supposed to be some of the early symptoms. So I guess you guys wasn't that crazy to buy all the toilet paper up. But with that being said, diarrhea is also another cause of dehydration. So if you are having diarrhea, then you want to kind of rest your stomach for a little bit, maybe just do fluids. You'll be fine if you don't eat. You just want to make sure that you stay hydrated. And then once you feel like you can eat again, you want to start slow with the BRAT diet. So that's bananas, rice, applesauce, and toast. If you do these things, I'm pretty confident that you won't end up in the emergency room. And being an emergency nurse, these are the things that I would do. Like, you know, emergency nurses or nurses period, we most likely have to be about dead to come to the hospital. But that's because we feel comfortable. We know the process. We know what the doctor is going to order. Half the time, we do the ordering because we know what should be ordered. So just, you know, take it slow, rest up, drink plenty of fluids. And if you have a nurse friend, call your nurse friend. She may feel comfortable giving you medical advice, or if you have, you know, doctors or anything like that, they would rather you call them. So I am very confident that we're going to get through this, but we just have to remember, you can't control what happens to you. You can only control how you respond to it. So with that being said, there's a few tips that I want to give you guys as a nurse as well. And please don't be offended. I'm just saying, but I feel like these things have to be said. And if you already knew this, hit the like button. I'm just reiterating. And then tell somebody, because that's the only way that people are going to stay at home, if they feel safe at home. If you don't feel safe at home, I always say it's better safe than sorry, because okay, so you know how you have a fever and you come to the hospital, and as soon as you get in the back, you ask for a blanket, and we say no. We're not being mean. We say no because if you have a fever and we cover you up, we're not going to break that fever. Your body temperature has to be exposed to the atmosphere so that it can, you know, let the heat out. But if you cover up, you're going to be hot, and that medicine is not going to work. So if you have a fever, don't cover up. I know it's hard because I know if you have chills, you want to, but just a light sheet maybe, but as much as possible, don't cover up with fever. And some things that I would do to make sure that I'm not spreading or contracting the virus in my home is I would treat it like I treat public places. When I go out, I do not touch the doorknobs. If I can, you know, if the door is closed, of course you have to, but I don't touch the doorknobs. I don't turn the faucet on with my hands, and I don't turn it off with my hands. I usually use paper towels, but in the home I don't use paper towels so much. So when I'm turning off the faucet, I would just kind of use my wrist. That way my hands that I just washed are not getting contaminated. And then I would wipe down all my surfaces frequently, meaning my doorknobs, to every door in the house, as well as my remote controls. Wipe down the refrigerator, as well as the sinks and the knob to flush the toilet. All of it would be wiped down twice a day. And even with wiping it down, I simply wouldn't touch it. That would just be a precaution that I would have to take. And I say these, but I'm literally like doing those things now because being exposed, like I really have been exposed, guys. Like I had to work the actual unit that they bring the patients to that are positive, and it's a whole gown up process. But you know, I will make sure I wipe my phone down. This bad boy gets wiped down after every single shift, and I even wipe it down just every day. Alcohol, let it dry, it evaporates. I used to work for a phone company, and when we repaired phones, we actually use alcohol because it evaporates. It doesn't cause any moisture damage. So alcohol my phone down. I wanted to also address what respiratory distress looks like. Shortness of breath is kind of like, you know, they told you to do that 10-minute cough, that hold your breath for 10 seconds. Like, yeah, I coughed on that too. So I'm like, I don't really like that test because I would be going to the emergency room. But labored breathing is very obvious. You know, somebody who's breathing like this is very, very unlabored. You know, it's normal breathing. But if I'm breathing like this, you see all of this moving, you see this moving, and then with kids you see nasal flaring. So now my nostrils are going out because I'm trying to get the most air into my lungs, and that is dangerous. That is not a drive your person or yourself to the hospital. That's a 911 call, because that happens too often too. You have the respiratory distress walking in, but then you have the abdominal pain or the leg pain coming in through ambulance. So let's know, when you see somebody that cannot breathe, like, and breathing fast, that's a 911 call. That's just what I would do. If I don't have anybody breathing like that, we're driving. If you're breathing like that, your color's not right, you don't look nice and brown, you look gray for African American, or if you're Caucasian or lighter skin, if you're blue, that's a 911 call, because 911 has what? Oxygen. And also look out for any mental confusion and any severe weakness. Like if you just can't do anything, like, you know, yeah, you may need some assistance. So I would go to the hospital during those times too. Now, I don't want to bust you guys' bubble, but I'm pretty sure some of you already know that antibiotics don't work for viruses. So yeah, that's why this virus sucks, because when you get sick, you're sick. And it sucks, you know. We just have to stay in the house, you know. Every time we have to put all of that stuff on, it is taken away from supplies that we don't have. And if we don't have any supplies, then we're just gonna have to work without it, and that puts us directly in the line of fire. And I love you guys, I love my community, but just stay at home so we can, you know, have enough PPE for the people who really need it. People are still coming to the hospital who don't have, you know, those Rona symptoms. They are coming to the hospital because they have chest pain, strokes, stuff like that. So yeah, we don't want to get them sick, and we want to have the proper equipment when we need it. So this is just what I would do. Buy a thermometer. Yeah, don't show up saying I think I have a fever, and then I say, did you check? And they say, well, no, I don't have a thermometer. Please buy a thermometer. Once you take the Tylenol, recheck your fever. If it's going down, you know it's working. You might feel hot, but you're not hot. And just keep drinking fluids. That's what we do when you come. You know, we give you medicine. If I triage you and you have a 38 Celsius temperature, I'm gonna give you some Tylenol, and somebody's gonna recheck your temperature. If it's gone down, we're gonna send you home. So do those things at home. And for me personally, if I have a fever, or if somebody in my house has a fever, I will be giving both. I will be giving Tylenol. I wouldn't give it at the same time, just in case there's an allergic reaction or something like that. I would give Tylenol 1 hour. The next hour I would give Motrin if the fever is like a 102.5. If it's not, then I'll probably start off with 1. But if it's high, I would do 2, because they're both fever relievers, but they work differently. The Motrin works, it's filtered out through the kidneys, and the Tylenol is filtered out through the liver. So that's just what I would do. Yeah, so I mean, it's real. Again, I am definitely feeling the effect of this, because I was a little bit like, this the same thing as the flu. But it got real. When it showed up to my hospital, and it's a small hospital, quickly, they just reported it that the first case was in Washington, and then now it's at the back door. I shut up real quick. So yes, please guys, if you can, stay home. Don't worry about what you can't control. Just do the things that you can do, like, you know, taking the precautions and staying hydrated, eating healthy foods, and don't worry about the rest. Yeah, so that is pretty much it for this video. And if you guys try out these DIY face masks, let me know. I put the Kotex in here for the moisture purposes, but if you don't want to use it, you don't have to. You can simply use it with just the cotton, or with the paper towel. It's something. It's better than nothing. And if you're going to take care of a loved one that is sick, I would suggest that you put them in a specific room, and then that's their room, and then wipe that room down maybe once or twice a day, but make sure that you put a mask on. And yeah, I think that's all the stuff that I would do if I got sick. And that is it. So yeah, I wanted to share that, because when people get sick around here, you get sick for one day. If you're around me, ask Bae. He gets sick, you get sick and you only sick for a few hours, because I'm hitting you with a whole bunch of stuff. You getting a humidifier, you getting Tylenol, you getting Motrin, you getting a tea. Like, it's real. You get some Vicks. Like, you're not about to be sick for a long time. And we're healthy, guys. So we can do this. We can do this. Let's make sure that we can be there for the people who need us to be there, for the people who have cancers, diabetes, asthma, HIV, and autoimmune diseases, and more that I didn't even mention. Let's make sure that we give them the service that they need, because what happens is, if we show up to the emergency room and we're not super sick, and we all come at the same time, and now we got people that's actually sick there, bad things happen. And that's why they shut everything down, because that would be horrible. That would be horrible. But all right, guys, that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it, and I will see you guys on the next upload. Stay safe and wash those hands. 20 seconds.